family. It's your favorite queer radio personality, Aina Deshawn, with our queer news for today. Now, I want to make you a promise. We will continue to bring you the latest in queer news, culture, and politics, 7 minutes a day, 5 days a week. So, if you are digging our intersectional take on the daily, consider joining the QCrew. The QCrew is our monthly membership program we started to help grow the podcast. With your help, we can bring you more stories celebrating our lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and comrade communities. This month for the QCrew, we have an exclusive interview with our new producer, Day. Catch the video to learn all about them and to hear his 5 vocals, okay? He brings it. If you want to watch the exclusive interview, though, you got to join the QCrew. Now, you've shown your support by tuning into this episode. You can show your curiosity by clicking the link in the show notes to learn more about the QCrew. Now, for the news. Brittney Griner has been wrongfully detained for 182 days. Now, in today's episode, I want to remember Jaylen, Devonta, and Donald, the 3 men who were killed in the hit and run at the iconic Jeffery Pub early Sunday morning. Let's honor them today and talk about the story. Let's go.
You are now tuned in to higher frequencies. We do this frequently. Turn your radio station to E3 for that decency. Listen to great music and the latest movement. Safe listening for anyone that's tuned in. Who you waking up to? Aina Deshawn, QCrew and friends. It's that real talk. Online radio with the spins. You caught up in traffic, frustrated. Just check in with E3 to shift your vibrations and get elevated. That's queer radio done right. Choose to be yourself. That's the only way to live life, and that's how it's done here. Just know y'all tuned in to the greatest. Ain't no competition. We ain't worried about the other stations. Check.
I wanted to take time to talk about this story today. I reported what we knew in Monday's episode, and so much has come to light since then that I wanted to take time and honor them, honor their individual stories, and honor those who survived as well. The story begins early Sunday morning around 4:30 a.m. in the most iconic Black gay bar in Chicago, the Jeffery Pub. An argument or fight broke out, and my understanding is that someone threatened to go to their car and get a gun. At that point, someone called the police, but they never showed up. It's also come out that a couple of calls were made at different points in time to the police, and the cops were really slow in responding, like really slow, y'all. Now, approximately 30 minutes later, that argument or fight made its way outside in the middle of the street. 6 men were there and 2 were definitely arguing and throwing hands. Then, out of nowhere, a silver sedan at incredibly high speeds quite literally ran them over. The impact was so severe, the victims came out of their shoes. They were lifted off the ground. This was absolutely an intentional act of violence. Now, I didn't watch the video in its entirety. It's not good for my spirit, okay? I just can't take it. But I've listened to those who did watch it, and I've read the reports and seen the pictures, and it's awful. Just awful, to say the very least. Jaylen Ausley, 23. Just graduated from the University of Michigan in 2021 and returned home to Chicago to work and uplift young people in his community. From what I've read, he was a remarkable young man coming into his own leadership and helping young people along the way. He was a mentor and someone the young people could look up to. A balloon release is being held for Jaylen Friday, August 19th at 3:15 p.m. at Gary Comer College Prep, where Jaylen worked. Devonta, 27, is known for being the life, okay? The whole life of the party. He was remembered as someone who loved those closest to him and protected them fiercely. His family and friends held a memorial for him on Monday, and hundreds of people showed up to celebrate his life. They released balloons, played music, and danced. They did what Devonta enjoyed. Donald Huey, 25, moved to LA just about 8 or 9 months ago to escape Chicago. His brother was killed here, and it was too much. He wanted to find his own way, and he started on that path. He had a job and his own apartment, and his family really felt like he was coming into his own. His family begged him to come home to celebrate his late grandmother's birthday, so he came. His sister said, quote, all Donald wanted to do was dress himself, care for his family, provide for his family, and make sure his mama had everything she needed. Carlee is the lone survivor of this attack and was just released from the hospital. He's bruised and needs crutches to walk because his ankle is sprained. He is quite literally a walking miracle. And he wrote on his Facebook page that he's not okay with a broken heart emoji. He recently did an interview with ABC 7 Chicago where he shares that he doesn't remember the impact and he doesn't recognize the vehicle that hit him, but he does remember what happened prior. I want to play an excerpt for y'all of the interview so you can hear what he had to say. Take a listen.
All I remember is I was trying to get my close family friend, I call him cousin, Rec, he go by Rec, was trying to get him from fighting another male. And by the time we got halfway in the street, this car came from the side, and I seen it through my peripheral. I seen the bright light. That's what made me jump back. And next thing you know, I was hit and woke up in the ambulance.
Okay, so allow me to help connect the dots here for you. Devonta is Rack. Rack is his nickname, and he was one of the people fighting. Now, if you've seen any piece of the footage or even a screenshot of them in the street, then you can see that there are 2 people throwing hands and 4 others around them. And according to Carlee, trying to get them to stop fighting. And then in the blink of an eye, someone or someones decided to evoke pure evil and run them over. Now, in regards to the investigation, the police have recovered the car. It was a few blocks away from the scene, but they need the community's help. They need someone to speak up and share what they know. Someone knows who did this. There were way too many people out there for someone not to know. Hopefully some connections can be made with the vehicle, but in the meantime, the police are asking if you know any information to call detectives at 312-747-8380. That's 312-747-8380, or submit an anonymous tip at cpdtip.com. Now, family, I have spent many nights at the pub, many nights, kicking it, celebrating someone's birthday, tipping the performers. Well, I get a little shy about that, so I actually usually give my wife the money and then she tips the performers. But enjoying the Chicago Black lesbian scene on the south side of Chicago. The pub has been serving this community for over 50 years. To say that it's a staple doesn't do it any justice whatsoever. It's a refuge. So to see it go through this moment is heartbreaking. I saw this evening that the pub will now be for people over 30 and they will be scanning IDs as well. My initial thought went to the 22-year-olds who have one less space to be. But this is what happens, right? A night full of bad decisions has led to this moment. And we know how important bars are to our community. They are places where we find our people, where we dance without care, hold hands without second glances, hug without contempt, kiss without judgment. Some people call it church because it's where they find love and support and community. Oftentimes, when tragedy happens, we blame the establishment. From what I've read, it doesn't seem like the pub was at fault here, and my heart goes out to the owner and staff. They take care of us in their own way, and this right here is hard. I pray for the families. I pray for the survivors because their lives will never be the same. I pray for the communities who've been impacted. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all better love on those you care about because today, right now, is not promised. As more information unfolds, we'll of course keep you updated, okay? But until tomorrow, family, take care of yourself and those you love the most. Peace. If you enjoyed what you hear, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is a production of E3 Radio, your #1 queer radio station playing queer music and reporting on queer news in high rotation.